How's everybody doing this morning? Good. Everybody's doing good. Good to hear. Well, my nickname is I'm the Waterman, Aquaman, but my real name is Yeah. And we're here to talk about what? Water. Yeah. So you guys know an awful lot about water, don't you? Yeah, you guys learn it in school. You use it every day. It's nothing new. But by the time I leave today, I'm hoping that you leave with two understandings. One, we use an awful lot of water. We use water in ways you probably haven't thought of yet, and we need to conserve. We need to only use the water, the small amount that we need. We don't need to waste water. So some of the stuff you're going to see in the PowerPoint today, you're already going to know. Some of this stuff will be brand new. After the PowerPoint, I've got a science activity. You want to do a science activity?
Yes!
So let's get started. So we already said you know some of this stuff. So what do you need water for? What are some things we need water for?
You need water to clean yourself.
We need water to clean ourselves. Absolutely, yes.
To drink.
To drink, we have to drink water.
To shower.
Shower. Who has a dog or a cat at home? Does your pet need water?
Yes.
You bet. All right. What about who's been to the beach, the lake, the pool, splashdown, Slitterbond? Yeah, we love to have fun with water, don't we?
Yes.
Water recreation. We like to have nice green grass, put out fires, and we have to eat, so we've got to grow food. So we use water for everything around us. Now, 75% of our earth is covered in water. 3/4 of our earth. That's an awful lot of water. Who's been to the beach? Yeah? So we've been to the beach. Who's been to the beach and had a big wave hit you in the face and you swallow some of that water? Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Why does it taste so yucky?
Is it salt water?
Salt water. Is that the same water that comes out of your shower head when you're taking a shower at home? No. Guys, almost 97% of our water on earth is salt water. And the water we use, it's not salt water, so it has to be fresh water. So, but most of our fresh water is trapped frozen solid in glaciers and ice caps. A very small amount of water on earth is fresh and accessible, and that's the water we use every day. Of course, in the bathroom we use an awful lot of water, brushing our teeth, washing our hands, taking showers, and sometimes baths. We do use a lot of water in the bathroom. Now, I told you we use a lot of water. Every person in this room today in the United States, we use about 100 gallons of water a day, each one of us. And we drink a lot of water, don't we? We drink about 1 billion glasses of tap water a day in our country. Now, let's talk about where water comes from locally. The water that comes to your home, to your schools, to the restaurants and places you visit every day, where do you think it comes from before it gets to your home?
From the sea.
From the sea. Anyone else? What do you think?
I was gonna say the Gulf of Mexico, but then
Gulf of
you said
Mexico.
the sea.
All right, let's take a look. What are you going to say?
Maybe a certain power plant.
Power plants?
Water plant.
Water plants? Let's take a look at this. Some of the water that gets to your home comes from local rivers and lakes. We call this surface water. All right, so we have Lake Livingston, Lake Houston, the Brazos, San Jacinto, and Trinity Rivers. Who's heard of any of these places? That's your local surface water. But not all your water comes from the surface. Some of your water comes right out of the ground. And when we have groundwater, we have to drill a water well to pull the water right out of the ground. And when we're doing that, we're pulling out of the Gulf Coast Aquifer. You and I, we live on an aquifer called the Gulf Coast Aquifer. And we have 3 different systems in our aquifer. And an aquifer is kind of like a big sponge that soaks up water. We do have a lot of sand in our system. Who's ever been to the beach and put your toes in the sand before? What comes up out of the sand? Water. So that sand kind of hangs onto the water for us, and we can use it when we need right out of the ground. Now, we know water is a renewable resource and that we can find it in all 3 phases of matter. You're right, solid, liquid, and gas. And Earth's water is recycled. What cycle do we have that you all know so much about, guys? Water cycle. All right, so we also know that all the steps of the water cycle. So let's review this really quickly. Evaporation. What do you know about this step in the water cycle?
It's when the water evaporates and goes up into the air.
The water is moving up into the air. What's causing the water to move up in the air? It's happening during evaporation. What's the one source of energy that's powering the water cycle? The big source. The sun. Can you see that water when it's moving up? No, it's a water vapor. It's a gas. It's very small moving up. And then we have this step. Condensation. What happens during this step in the water cycle? Yes, sir.
The water vapor turns back into water.
Okay, so that vapor turns back into a liquid. We have clouds that form, but you all experience condensation every single day. What are other examples that you've seen? What are some other examples?
Like those cups that have like the top spiky on. Like if you put like water in one of those, usually you'll like see some water vapor on it. That's like and cloudy stuff on it.
Okay, so if you have a cold drink, it could be water, juice, milk, tea, whatever you're drinking. If you have a cold beverage, you're going to see water forming on the outside of the cup or container. That's definitely condensation.
If you have a hot drink, sometimes like it's and then sometimes you get some stuff.
Yeah, if you have a hot drink, if you have a lid on it and right inside that lid, you'll see condensation forming because it's cool on the outside and it's warm inside that cup. One more. Fog, very good example. Who took a shower this morning? All of you guys, right? What happens to the mirror in the bathroom? Fogs up, yeah. So we do experience condensation every day, and we know about precipitation. What are the 4 types of precipitation? What's one? Rain. Sleet. Hail. Snow. We have all 4 types of precipitation. Very good. And when we talk about accumulation or collection, when we're having precipitation, that water is running off into streets. Some of that water is actually sinking in the ground, and it eventually becomes groundwater. Very slowly it makes its way down. We call this infiltration. The water is infiltrating. During transpiration, the water is actually traveling through the plant. That plant takes in water through the roots. It goes up the stem into the leaves and actually evaporates off of the surface of the leaf. It's so important for us to understand where water comes from, how we use it, how we can conserve water, and what happens to it when we're done using it. So those are some of the topics we still have yet to hit on. So we know we need water to stay healthy. We have to stay hydrated. What percentage of your body do you think is water? What do you think your body is? 20% water, 40% water? What do you think? 80% water. One more person, yes sir?
96%.
96%. Let's take a look at the different parts of our body. Your brain, it's about 70% water. And your lungs are around 90% water. Quite a bit. Your muscles are 75% water. And your body is somewhere around 2/3 water. That's a lot of water. So we have to stay hydrated. That's one reason that we do need water. Who likes to eat? Oh yeah, I love to eat. All right, so if I were to tell you that we use a lot of water to grow food, who has 4 people at home? Just 4 people. Right. How many gallons of water do you think we use to grow food to feed a family of 4 for just one day? How many gallons of water? What do you think? 10 gallons of water? 400 gallons of water. What do you think? 400? Let's take a look at this. It's about 6,800 gallons of water to grow a day's food for a family of 4. Who thinks that's outrageous? Lots of water. Think about the things you eat every day. Who likes Lucky Charms? What's the best part of Lucky Charms? The charms, the marshmallows. And those charms have a lot of something that's real bad for your teeth. Sugar. That sugar grows on a sugar cane. Does that sugar cane need water to grow?
Yes.
You bet. The other part of the cereal has wheat. That wheat's got to grow using water. So everything we eat at some point in time uses water during production or during growth. Potatoes. Who likes French fries? All right. Potatoes. We make French fries from potatoes, and it takes about 6 gallons of water for one serving of French fries. And we all like watermelon, right? Look at this. About 100 gallons of water to grow one watermelon. And tomatoes, we all like pizza, right? I know y'all love pizza and spaghetti. Tomatoes are 90% water. Who had milk this morning? Yeah? A cow has to drink how many gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of milk? 4 gallons of water for every gallon of milk. And who's wearing jeans today? We don't think about jeans and water, do we? We've got to grow cotton to make jeans, and then we use about 1,800 gallons of water to grow enough cotton for one pair of jeans. Why am I telling you these things? 5th grade. It's your job. It's my job. We all have to do our small part to make a difference in water conservation. Small changes in our habits every day can make a huge impact collectively on water conservation. Y'all ready for the experiment?
Yes.
All right. All right, so I've got this unit here. Why do I have this weird looking machine? I've got this machine here with me today because you're going to be taking home with you a box. It's not just any ordinary box. It's got some water conservation equipment in there, and you've got some activities at home that are going to go right along with each item. Now, this machine's got two shower heads, but they're very different. The shower head to your right here has been called the water hog for many, many, many years. And the shower head to your left, it's conservative. Now, 3 of you are about to come up here and run this machine for 30 seconds. How long?
30 seconds.
In that time frame, water is going to be spraying out of both of these shower heads, and it's going to be collecting in this tank. We're going to be able to compare the amount of water that comes out of a conservative shower head and one that's not conservative, and we'll talk about that later towards the end. And we'll also be looking at some other items that are in your boxes. You've got some aerators. They're fittings that screw on the end of your faucets and allow you to use less water every day when you're brushing your teeth, washing your hands, washing dishes, the many things we do in the kitchen and bathroom sink areas. So I need 3 helpers up here. I'm going to quiz you guys. In what stage of the water cycle does water go from being a liquid to being a vapor or gas? What stage of the water cycle? Yes, ma'am. Very good. Evaporation. Come up here. All right. In the PowerPoint, we discussed surface and groundwater. I told you 5 local rivers and lakes that we pull surface water from. Who can recall 2 of these places? Yes, sir.
Lake Houston and Trinity.
Very good job. Lake Houston, Trinity River. Come on up. Last question. How many gallons of water does it take to grow a watermelon? Grow Gidry.
100.
Good job, Gidry. Come on up here. All right. So if I could get 3 of you to stand right behind this machine. All right. And good job. Give me your names. Dalton.
Josiah.
All right. I'm going to give them nicknames. We have Water Engineer 1, Water Engineer 2, and Water Engineer
3.
Okay, they're going to have very specific jobs. Water Engineer 1, his job is the power switch. He'll be turning the machine on and off throughout the presentation here. Water Engineer 2 will be turning a black knob. You can't see this knob, but when we're done with our shower head activity, he'll be turning it because he'll be redirecting the water from the shower heads to the sink area. Now, I said we're going to run the machine for 30 seconds. You see the numbers on the front of this tank? After 30 seconds when we turn it off, that water is going to stop somewhere. So I want you to form a hypothesis really quickly. The water hog, after 30 seconds, at what number do you think that water level will stop? Show me with your fingers between 1 and 8. What do you think? Do you think that water level will get all the way to that 8? Maybe the 5? All right, I see some 7s and a lot of 7s, and there's an 8 over here. All right, good job. What about the conservative shower? We know it'll use less water, but how much? What do you think? See some 5s, a 2, a 4, 3. Good job. Y'all ready? Okay. All right, so I'm watching the clock. I'm going to step over here and watch the clock. And Water Engineer 1, we're about to count him off. Are you ready? 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
Yeah, it's okay. A little bit of water. Are you shocked at what you see so far? Yeah. We still have 10 more seconds. Hit it.
I was right.
All right. Let's look at this here. The water hog, about what number did we stop at?
6.
At 6. What about the conservative shower head?
2.
Yeah, a little over this 1 mark, right between the 1 and 2 mark. Is there a big difference here?
Yes.
Who only spends 30 seconds in the shower? All right. A lot of us spend 4, 5, 6 minutes in the shower. Do you think you could conserve some water if you have a conservative shower head? Yeah. So that's the idea. We need to go home. We need to test our shower heads, make sure that we're using only the water we need. We're not wasting water. So Water Engineer 1, can I get you to pull that knob straight up in the air? Go ahead and turn your knob, Water Engineer 2, and then you go ahead and grab this and pull it straight up in the air. To the right. To the right. This way. Keep going. All right. So you can go put those down. We're going to look at the sink area. And for my friend sitting over here, I'll make sure I turn the machine so you can see what's going on in the sink area. So I told you, we wash our hands, brush our teeth, we wash dishes, do lots of stuff in the sink areas at home. Now, how many people here have ever left the water running when you brush your teeth? Yeah, so maybe one time? It's not a water-wise habit. We need to make sure that we turn water off when we're not needing it to use it in the sink areas. And these fittings will help you do that every day at home. So if we could get that power switch on, please. And go ahead and turn these. All right, so we have water running in the sink area. Your aerators that you're taking home are really easy to install, and they have a lever. That lever will help you control the flow of water. So Water Engineer 3, go ahead and show the class what happens when you move this lever up and down. Right here, you can control the flow of water. You can have less water or more water. And even when you have it on full blast, you're using less water. You have a kitchen aerator here, has the same exact fitting. And if you need to, you can swivel it around or change the flow of water in the kitchen area at home. All right, go ahead and turn these off. Good job. Give your friends a round of applause. Good job, Water Engineering. I have a special prize for you at the end of the program, so go ahead and have a seat. Forget that you're fine. Good job. Y'all did a great job, all three of you. All right, so the materials you're taking home, go ahead and find your seats. The materials you're taking home, we're going to talk about all these neat items that you'll be working on at home. Now, remember that when you go home, you use your workbooks and you're doing these activities to have an adult with you. And remember that all your directions are included. Any questions you have, you probably have the answer in your workbook that you're taking home with you. All the items we're going to talk about are in your kits. So the first item we'll talk about is this drip cup. You've got a drip cup, because sometimes we have drips at home, and a little drip seems so innocent, but we've got to fix that drip. So with this drip cup, if you ever have a drip, you have directions in your boxes and in your workbooks to take measurement of how much water could be wasted in a day or a year, in gallons per day, gallons per year here, to find out how much water could be wasted if you don't fix that drip. My favorite use for this tool in your box is, who's ever used a rain gauge before? We have a rain gauge here. You can put it in the yard at home or in school, or if you don't want to put it in the yard, you can prop it up, make sure it doesn't fall over, keep track of rainfall. But the biggest waste of water that we have is in our yards. Whose parents like to keep nice green yards? Yeah, we love to water our grass. The problem is some people water too much. Water-wise tip, you only water 1 inch a week. If your parents water twice a week, that's about ½ an inch each time they water. And you can keep track of how much water is being put in the yard with this tool. Another water-wise tip in the yard, make sure you're not watering the sidewalks, the neighbors' cars, the house. We need to water the grass only. So make sure you're not watering areas that don't need to be watered. Make sure that if you have a drippy faucet, you fix it. A lot of times, a drippy faucet is simply caused from a washer or O-ring, and this is a washer here. In your boxes, you have 3 or 4 of them, and they're little round white rubber fittings. You've got an extra one in your box. So hang on to it because you may need it in the future. We already discussed not to leave that water running while we're brushing our teeth. When you're scrubbing your hands in the sink area with soap, you don't need that water running. Turn it off while you're washing your hands. Look at this. A dripping faucet can weigh 17 gallons a day. Just one simple drip. Do that times how many days you have in a month or a year. If you don't fix it, it adds up. Your showers. The shower head you'll be taking home is in your box. Everything you need to install this shower head is in your box except for a wrench. You've got to have a wrench. You've got your thread tape, you have your shower head, and you have your washers. When you're installing the shower head, one of your activities, you're going to be comparing the flow of water in your existing shower head and with your new shower head. And how you're going to do that is you're going to use this 5-second flow test bag. Take this bag, hold it up to your existing shower head for 5 seconds, let the water run into the bag, record your results in gallons per minute, install your new shower head, do the same exact activity, and compare your results. If you see a 2 gallon per minute decrease in the flow of water, in a 5-minute shower, you're conserving 10 gallons of water. We all take showers every day. Sometimes more than one person takes a shower in each shower, so we could be really conserving a lot of water with our shower heads. Our toilets at home. Sometimes they leak. New toilets, old toilets. We have rubber flappers in the bottom of our toilets that do tend to get old. They sit funny, they crack, and they need to be replaced from time to time. And a lot of times we don't know that our toilets are leaking because it's such a fine amount of water coming into the bowl, and it goes right down the pipe We don't even realize it. In your boxes, you have a small white bag with 2 blue tablets. Each one of those tablets, you can test 1 toilet. And the way you're going to do that is take the tablet, drop it into the back of the toilet, into the tank. Let the water change color. After about 20 minutes, and you haven't flushed the toilet during this activity, you're going to come back, revisit the toilet, and look at the bowl. The water in your bowl should be clear. If it's turning blue during your investigation, that means that water is being allowed to pass right into your bowl and it's leaking. But don't worry. Replacing that fitting in your toilet is not expensive. It's a few dollars at the hardware store. It takes a few minutes to do. And remember, like I told you, I'm sure all of you could do all of these activities at home on your own, but make sure you have an adult with you. You've got this digital thermometer in your box as well. With this thermometer, you're going to want to take the temperature of your hot water coming out of your faucet areas. Because if your hot water heater is not set properly, you're wasting energy, which is also wasting water. And when you turn that hot water on and burn your hand, we tend to spend time adjusting the temperature of the water. All that fresh water is going down the drain. It's being wasted. We want to make sure we're not wasting water. Saving water makes sense. Guys, who learned at least one thing from this presentation? Yeah? All right. Who would like to go home and help your parents save some money? By using less water, you're going to help your parents save money because they pay for every drop of water you use. You're also going to be educating your family at home on water-wise habits and taking equipment home to install. So, what questions do you all have about your materials or about water conservation that I can answer right now? Yes?
So inside the shower head, everything's there but except a wrench.
Right, you need a wrench to remove your old shower head, and you need to make sure that you use thread tape before you put the new shower head on. This is thread tape. It's white. You're going to take it and wrap it around the fitting that comes out of the wall, the pipe, before you screw your new shower head on. To keep the water from sneaking through and spraying everywhere. It insulates right where the threads are. Yes?
Why is a water tablet blue?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think if it's dark, then it allows a really good contrast. If it was a lighter color, like maybe light green or yellow, it might not be easy to see in the toilet. Blue is dark. Any other questions? What do you think happens to the water when it leaves your home? Where does it go? All that nasty water from your toilet, your bathtub, the sink areas, where does it go after you brush your teeth? What do you think?
Goes through a pipe and it goes to
Yeah. The water that leaves our home, in most cases, some of us have septic tanks, but in your area, the water gets piped from your home to a facility where it's cleaned. All those steps will be discussed in your workbook. There's several steps the water goes through before it's fit to be put back into our waterways, and we do, in a sense, recycle our water because we clean it. It's safe to put back in our community, and we do so. So that's what happens to the water when it leaves your home. Water-wise tips. What have you learned in school? What have you learned at home already to conserve less water? What can you do at home to use less water?
When you brush your teeth, turn off the faucet.
Yeah, when you brush your teeth, turn the faucet off.
Instead of using a non-conservative shower, a conservative shower, use a conservative shower.
We want to make sure that the items we have installed in our wet areas at home are conservative. Yes?
Don't take like hour-long showers. Just like it only takes a few minutes to take a shower.
Limit your time in the shower. What about a shower versus a bath? Which one is more conservative? Taking a shower, a short shower, or a bath? Which one's more conservative, guys?
Shower.
You bet, all right? So make sure we're taking showers instead of baths. When you're at home, when you're watering the grass, make sure you monitor the amount of water going in the grass. If you have a sprinkler system at home, make sure it doesn't turn on when it's raining. That's a big waste. When you're washing the car at home, maybe try to wash it in the yard. That water will go into the ground, and it won't run off into the streets, into our storm drains. That's one water-wise tip.
You mean water in the grass, don't water the neighbor's car on the sidewalk?
Yeah. Is the neighbor's car going to grow? No. The grass will, so make sure you're not watering the neighbor's car. All right, 5th grade. Remember to be water-wise, to practice water-wise habits. Go home, talk to your parents about the materials, and remember to like us on Facebook. We're on Facebook too. I want to thank you for being a great audience. And I also want you to remember that without your teacher's support, this program would not be possible. So I want you to give your teacher a round of applause for letting you have this program. All right? I want everyone to have a great day. Thank you, guys.